All right, time for another Bleltics update. Another week in the book. Shout out to Spike Lou. Check out his podcast. So what y'all got? How y'all feeling about everything?
Shit, I'll let you go first. I've been talking last couple videos. So.
We looking good as a team. That's all I gotta say. You know, earlier I said we were gonna do good, and it turns out I was right as hell. And I actually watched a couple of our games this past week. The Washington game was fun for us. Washington, I was like, they're a bad team. I thought, but they already know that. And then I think that we just had problems scoring in the fourth. But other than that, we destroyed them, which I expected. We had like our second, third stringers in, and they were still playing their starters.
We've been consistent. I think all the games except for the last for this past Friday with Miami, that second back-to-back with Miami, they've scored at least 130 points in back-to-back games as a team. So it's like that's something that the Celtics franchise hasn't seen ever. Like that's something more. It's like you get used to seeing numbers like that with like the Warriors and shit like that, especially like that early dynasty. So seeing the offense on that level and them being the number one defense last year, it's dope. I just hope that when Rob comes back, they're able to really hone in on that defense. Like I think that's the biggest issue because outside of Rob, even with Luke Cornett tall behind, like we don't really have any defensive presence. We don't have that person that scares you away that makes you alter your shot. I think when Rob comes back in, that's going to help the defense settle down a lot. So I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from the Celtics so far.
What happened in that Heat game?
Me personally, so I think it's a combination of things. I think one, when it comes to a high offensive type of team, you're always going to have those slumps, those nights where everybody's not hitting. Some that like that first game, some of those shots we were just hitting. Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White, those open shots, they were sticking them, but the offense wasn't moving as smoothly. It doesn't seem to move as smoothly when we go against the Heat. I'm not sure if it's just a matchup issue or anything like that, but it seems like whenever they go against the Heat, it's really hard for them to really do all those things that they've been doing all season. The same thing happened last season. But credit to Jimmy Butler. They showed up. Kyle Lowry, Bam made full use of having that mismatch up against Grant and Horford with Williams being out. Because once he goes up, he gets in that spot, he goes up, turn around on you. There's nothing you can do. You just got to keep your hands up and just be straight up and just hope that he misses. So I think really it was just that Tatum had an off game. That happens, you know. I think compared to if this was like last season Tatum, he would have more games like this versus it being the other way around this season. He has less games like this where he has other games. My thing, you can't hold that too much against him, but literally just the past game he went off for 49 points.
Exactly.
And he waved off the last one like, nah, I'm good. Like I don't need to get 50. Like I already got 50. You know what I mean? So I think he just had an off night. I think he took a selfish shot towards the end. I think that is one thing he still needs to work on is that if I'm not hitting, I understand you want a 2-for-1 situation, and you get a wide open look, but you haven't been hitting all night. Jaylen Brown, the only reason y'all even in OT right now, give Jaylen Brown the ball. Let him shoot the ball. So it's like, I think that's still the only balance. It's like them really figuring out how to really fully pass it off to each other. I think the offense is still centered around Tatum being that finisher guy. But I think I need the players themselves to realize, okay, this is the plan. This isn't working though. Who's hitting? JB's hitting. We give him to JB.
Yeah.
Because Brogdon could also go off for a night like that. Derek White has been improving his shot a lot this season. He's been hitting from deep. So I think all collectively they've been doing really good. So I think it was just a couple little things that just kind of went. They didn't go their way that night, and the refs were weird that night. Yeah, they was just not even on no trying to play sides. They were just weird in general. Some of the calls they was calling on both sides were just odd. So
Okay. All right.